Hi, my name's Tom Pine, and with VistaQuest Corporation, we are a development partner with Hewlett-Packard, and I'd like to introduce to you today the T250 Digital Video Camcorder. Actually, it's a multifunction device. It acts as a digital video camera, also as a 5 megapixel digital still camera, and a voice recorder. So a lot of functionality all in one very slim, compact product. It's very attractive, very fun product to use, and easy to operate. It features a 3-inch touchscreen display. This is really very nice, and we'll fire it up and I'll show you later how that works. But all the functionality of the camera can be handled either through all the buttons and knobs, that interface, or through the touchscreen display. So very nice, real step forward in digital imaging. I'd like to introduce you not only to the product, but the accessories that come with it as well. The first thing that we have that comes with is an accessory bag. It's a small pouch that comes with. It's insulated. It's got protection. You put the camera in there. It's got a little protective area around there so to keep it safe in transit. And it's got a belt loop so you can carry it with you on your belt. Easy for transit. Next inclusion with the product is an HDMI cable. Since this is a full HD, full HDF, that's 1080p video camcorder, we include an HDMI cable that allows you to connect to the back of the camera and then go direct into an HDMI device such as a high-def monitor. So you can actually have live video fed right from the camera into a high-def monitor, or you could take this and run it into a high-def recorder, for instance. Next product accessory is the video cable that comes out of the USB port, and that feeds to an analog monitor. So we have a video and then a stereo left and right channel. So you have a composite video and left and right stereo audio that goes to a legacy imaging device, a TV monitor. Next thing, we have a USB cable. This USB cable, it's a standard cable. It's type A on the one end and a B mini on the other end. Very standard cable. If you lose it or misplace it or need another, it's like most of the products, a very common cable. This allows you to connect your T250 now to your PC or Mac. When you do so, it will appear as what's called a mass storage device. So it'll show up just like plugging in a thumb drive. All of your files and folders will show up on your machine, on your desktop, or as an external drive, and you can access all of your files that way. Next thing important is the power adapter. This allows you to connect the camera, and you can run the camera off power if you don't have enough battery power. First thing you have to do is put in the US adapter. So I've just hooked up so I can use the USA plug. There are other plugs available for different nations, and that also charges direct to the USB connector. So very nice. So you can charge the camera's battery in the camera. So you don't have to take it out or use a special charger. You plug this in the wall, hook this to the back of the camera, and it will charge the lithium-ion battery, and we'll go to that next. This is the battery that's used. It's called an NP60. It's a lithium-ion flat pack. It's 3-terminal, very common. It's used on a lot of different cameras. It's called an NP60. The one that's included with this product is about 1050 milliamp hours. If you want an accessory battery, you can get one at common retail outlets, and you can get anywhere from 700 to about 1400 milliamp hours. The capacity, of course, refers to how much power the battery will offer and how long it will run. So we include one of these batteries with the product. Next thing we include is some software. Now, you don't really need any software to run the camera. You can just run it as is and bring in your videos and load them up to YouTube. There's really no editing really required, but if you do want to do some editing or put things together, we include for PC users what's called Total Media Extreme. And within Total Media Extreme, there are some software packages. I use one called Showbiz, and that allows you to take the videos that we recorded with the 250, and you can edit them, you can merge them together, you can paste them, transition them, you could add some stills, you can control the audio, a lot of really cool things you can do. And then it's got a link where you can upload your videos then right to YouTube if that's what you prefer. And last, we have what's called a quick guide. This is not actually the full user manual. This is a small edition. It's kind of a light edition that introduces you to just the kind of the top level features, and it kind of gives you a quick overview of the product. If you want a more detailed description of the product, there's about a 92-page user manual that is on the CD-ROM, and that's the same CD-ROM as we introduced with Total Extreme. So that user manual is available on the CD-ROM, or you can get it off the website. And occasionally we'll have updates as we introduce new features. If there's little changes or erratas, we'll update the website with the latest version of the manual. So basically, that's the product in a nutshell. One thing that you will need is a memory card. I suggest that you get a memory card. This uses what's called SD Secure Digital. Here's an example of an SD card. There's a memory slot that will accept either SD or, this is cool, micro SD. So you have your choice. As a matter of fact, it takes both. There are two memory slots, and we'll look at that in just a minute. So that's something you can pick up at a local store. Not very expensive, but you do have a choice of SD or micro SD. What I'd like to do at this point is introduce you to the physical features of the product. So go over all the physical features and the ports, and we'll just kind of walk through one at a time what everything is. So here, of course, is the basic camera. It has a lens cap. It features a 5-time optical zoom. This is very interesting. It's 5-time optical zoom, and unlike most cameras, the zoom is all done internally. If you'll see most digital cameras, the zoom lens extends back and forth. This one does not. It's all done internal to the machine itself. So it's really pretty cool. Next thing we do see here is there's two features in the front. There's an LED lamp. So when you want to illuminate an object, if you're taking a video and it's dark, you can turn on the lamp. It's like a headlight, basically. It'll light up the area in front of you. Next thing is this little tiny red LED. That indicates to you that it's in recording mode. So if you're on the other end of the recorder and you're not sure if it's working or not, look for that little red LED, and that will light up and tell you if it's functional or not. On the back side, let's look at the status display. The status display will tell the operator what's going on there. So when it's flashing, let's say it's flashing red, that means it was recording. If it's green, it would be charging. So there's a couple of indications that we'll walk through. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Here's the record button. So if you're going to record video or digital still or an audio, you would hit the record button. So you'd press that, it would go into record mode. So basically that's like the shutter button on the camera. Next feature on the back is the port door. There's two ports. There's a USB port and an HDMI port. The USB port serves actually three functions. It's for USB, so when you want to connect your camera to a PC or Mac, you use the USB connection. Also, if you want to charge the camera with the AC charger, the AC charger plugs into that port as well. And then if you want to do video out to an analog device like an older legacy television, it goes out of there as well. The HDMI port, where we put the HDMI cable, goes into the HDMI port. So that port only serves one function, whereas the USB has a triplicate function. So that's the back door. Let's now move to the top. On the top, this rocker switch is for telephoto and zoom. Now you can, as we see when we open the touch panel, you can also do telephoto and zoom control through the touchscreen interface. Personally, I think it's probably best to zoom in and out using the rocker switch as you're holding the camera. Next thing we'll flip open the touchscreen. There is one feature that's important to notice. There is a plastic protective cover. It's nice for shipping, but it makes it very difficult to use the touchscreen interface if you leave the plastic on, so I recommend taking that off. We do have a number of buttons on the front, on the side internal, and there's a menu which brings up menus. I don't have a battery installed yet, but we'll walk over that. And then here's the button to turn on the light and to adjust modes, and then here's the on-off switch. Now the camera itself turns on and off when you open the door, but if for some reason you want to turn it off without closing the door, you can hit the off button, and if it powers off on its own and you want to turn it back on, use the power switch. Another feature in the cover door is the microphone. That is the microphone, a little tiny hole there. That's where you'll be receiving your audio, so make sure that you have kind of a clear path between that and your sound source. Speaker is right there, so when it plays back, you'll have your speaker function there. And then the other feature is a hand strap. This is actually very important because this is a single-handed device, whereas most digital cameras are two hands. You hold it with one and press the shutter with the other. The camera of this class is typically a one-hander, so if you adjust the strap just right, and get it nice and tight so it fits on your hand, you can grab it like a baseball, and that's how you run the shutter. So you actually activate the shutter with one hand. So it's a single-handed device. If you want, you might want to stabilize it with the second hand, but it really is made that you can zoom in and out and activate the shutter, whether it be for video, still, or audio record, all through a single-handed operation. Okay, let's talk about the out-of-box experience. So your new camera has arrived. You open the box. First thing is take out all the components. Make sure everything's there. You will need to get an SD or a micro SD card, depending on your retailer. Some retailers will have us include a card with the product, and others will not. Oftentimes not. Cards are not expensive. They're easy to find, and you probably have one you've used with some other device. So the out-of-box experience is number one. Open the box, look for all the components, and take them. Each one of these parts is individually bagged. But a really important thing is to adjust the hand strap to make it fit just yourself. So it's a Velcro kind of thing, and you adjust the length just so to fit your hand, so that when you grab it, it'll be a nice tight fit. I like to get it just so, and it, like I say, it's like almost like a baseball. And I got my hand on it. I've got my thumb on the shutter button, and it's just a good one-handed fit. And being able to do a one-hand operation is very essential to making this really a beneficial experience. So we've got the strap set up. We've got, next thing, we'll have to put in battery. So the battery comes with it. Should be charged. If not, we can charge it. But let's go ahead and insert the battery now. So the battery is a flat pack. It's what's called a lithium ion. If you look down inside there, there's 3 little tabs, and here's the 3 tabs. You've got to get it the right way. It is possible to get it upside down. It will fit, and it won't work. But do get it. So these 3 tabs are going to go like that. So those 3 tabs go that way. Insert, drop it in, clicks in place. There's a little tab. Next thing is a memory card. I'm going to use an SD card, a full-size SD card. This will only go one way. If you get it the wrong way, it will stop you. So turn it around, put it in, snaps in place. When you want to get it out, give a little push, and it pops out. So it's kind of spring-loaded. There's 2 card slots. This is very interesting. There's also a micro SD slot, and you can stick that little guy in there. I won't do that right now, but you can have 2 memory cards, and as a matter of fact, each one of those cards can be as much as 32 gigabytes. I think I'm showing, I put a 4 in there, but you can put a 32. You could put a 32 in the big slot and a 32 in the smaller slot, and then when you fill up one, you can switch to the other. So now that we've got a battery in place and our memory card, and go ahead and close the door. There is a little bit of an internal memory. It will work without a memory card, but it's really small, so you're not going to get very far with that. So now the next thing to do, we've got the battery in place. Let's turn it on. Okay, and it has the boot up screen, HP, thank you. And now it wants to know about the date and time. You can do that if you like, or just skip past that. Next thing I want to do is we've got the camera charged up. It looks like the batteries. Let's go back to the home page. Oops, got to take the cover. Okay, and memory cap's got to come off. And next thing I look at is the battery condition. In this case, my battery's full. It says number 1. That shows that I've got a memory card and memory slot number 1. I've removed the plastic sheet. My battery's good to go, so I'm ready to go. And what you might want to do at this point is continue to go through some of our videos, or look at the quick start guide, or even supplement that by going through the user manual, which is a PDF on the CD-ROM. You know, like I say, there's probably updates on the website. So we've got our battery installed. To turn the camera on, we just open it. To turn it off, just close it. It's really that simple. Once again, open it up, fires up. It's a fast start. From here, we can go through the various features, and I'll do that in the next section. In this section, I'd like to go over the technical product specifications. You know, not every last detail, but really just some of the more salient features that explain what the product is all about. So it's a full HD device. So what does that mean? It means that it will record at a video resolution of what's called 1080p. You probably heard that before. And what that means is that the video resolution in its best mode, its highest mode, will be 1920 by 1080 resolution, and that will do that at about approximately 30 frames a second. You can take that down a notch. You can go to 720p. That will also be at 30 frames a second, and at a resolution of 1280 by 720. We have another mode called wide VGA, and that's 848 by 480, and that is also a 16:9 aspect ratio. So all those first 3 video modes are 16 by 9, and that is the aspect ratio of all the latest widescreen televisions that you see. And we have one more video mode, and that's called QVGA, quarter VGA, and that's 320 by 240. That's a 4:3 aspect ratio, so that's the same aspect ratio as you would see on some of the older television or some of the older computer monitors that were in place. That is the perfect resolution for delivery to the web. So if you're going to do a YouTube thing or some kind of a streaming video on the web, that's the one to use. if you're going to use your videos for use on an HDMI device on a big monitor, then you might want to consider the full 1080p settings. And we'll go over that later. I've got another section that talks about what's the appropriate choice of video resolution for what you're doing. Now, the video format, the video files that you'll see are called MOV. That's QuickTime. So these are QuickTime MOV files, and it conforms to what we call H.264 for the techies. The still image resolution, the sensor we use here is what's called a CMOS sensor. It's a 5 megapixel. So you can shoot still images at 5 megs, which I recommend. You can shoot them down at 3 megs if you like to have slightly smaller shots but get more capacity. You can shoot at 3 megs, which just happens to be the resolution of the new iPad. So that's very convenient to use that. And then you can do. We also have 2 still image interpolation modes. So you can interpolate up to 8 megapixels or 16. So your choice. The trade-off there being that it'll take up a little more space and there might be much bigger files. But there's some advantages to that. Now, the camera itself has a 5x zoom. We talked about that a little earlier, and it's actually very nice. Once the camera comes up, look at the zoom is controlled either through the rocker switch or through the touchscreen interface. You can use the telephoto or wide there. So very nice, and it's a very smooth. Actually, it's kind of a slow motion optical zoom, which is great for video capture. You don't want it to be too fast or too jerky. So the very slow articulated motion is very nice. We talked about the file formats for videos being QuickTime Move. For digital stills, it's of course JPEG. There's another feature, another function, and that is the audio recording feature. And the files there will be called WAV files. So WAV. We've got some more details later on the specifications and what that all means. Let's see, we talked about the battery. Oh, we have to talk a little bit about playback. These are big files, so very demanding on your computer. If you're going to do full HD, if you want to do 1080p and you want to edit files like that on your PC, you probably need a pretty good, powerful PC with some pretty good video RAM. So depending on your computer and how powerful it is, that can be pretty much of a challenge. You might want to consider a resolution that is workable within your computing framework if you want to edit your videos on your local machine. So that's a little bit about the technical specifications. In the next section, then we'll walk on and we'll talk about some of the file formats and connectivity. Okay, previously we talked about the file formats, the QuickTime Move for videos, the JPEG for still images, and WAV files. What will happen is as soon as you put a memory card in, either an SD or micro SD, the T250 will format that card. Actually, not literally format it, but it'll structure it. It'll create some file folders. It will name the card. It'll be called something like T250. And then it will set up a folder called DCIM, Digital Camera Images. Inside that folder, you will find your pictures, your videos, whatever your audio, whatever you've been recording. So all of the images, videos, and audios will be in that folder. Actually, it'll be DCIM, and then below that will be one more folder called like 100 HP DVC. Inside that will be all of your data folders. So that's the memory structure that will be created. If you'd like to know more about that, the user manual on page 35 gives a little more detail on how the files are named, and then how you can start over. If you want to reset the counter for some reason, you can do that. So that's described on, actually it could be in page 35 and also on page 80. Okay, in this section I'd like to go over a feature that's probably a little hard to show in video, but a very compelling feature. It's the touch screen features that allows you to rotate and slide through images. So it's pretty neat. It's kind of like similar on some of the iPod. Okay, so I'm going to go to a playback feature. I'm in digital still, so these are videos I've taken. So I'm going to use the touchscreen. I'm going to go to my video, or excuse me, my stills, and there's some still shots that I've taken just recently. So there's one I'm playing back, and so I can move through these by using let's see if I can demonstrate this. So I can drag my pictures. There you go. Oops, I rotated. I wasn't trying to rotate. Sorry. I can rotate. See how I rotated that? And I can slide to the next shot. There, that's working for us. And so I can move my finger across, and it takes me to my next image, and the next one. I can rotate. Okay, so in this section, now the question comes: you've captured your videos, your stills, your audio. Now, what do you do with all that? So let's start with digital video. That's kind of the premier feature of this camera. So what do you do with your pictures? So they're on your memory card. You can take your memory card, you can put it in a card reader, you can use the USB cable, you can connect to your PC or Mac. Ultimately, you get the video files moved over to your computer. So what do you do then? So for playback purposes, I recommend Apple QuickTime Player. Apple QuickTime Player is a free player application. It's available for PC or Windows users. And it's probably the best application for just playing your videos. So just to play them back and look at them works very well. There's a little bit of an unfortunate thing that these are QuickTime file formats. If you try to play them back in Windows Media Player, there's a little bit of an issue there. It depends on what codecs you have, and it's a little bit of a complicated thing, but for most people what they'll find is you can play back the video part, but you can't hear the sound. A little bit awkward. So using the Apple QuickTime Player in either PC or Mac environment, that really works best. So that's the best way to play back your files, to just simply play back your video files. For audio files, once again, QuickTime will do that just as well. Let's see, the Windows Media Player isn't going to do it for you, but there are a lot of third-party softwares that will allow you to play back your audio files as well. Now for PC users, we've included on the in the package the ArcSoft Total Media Extreme. So that's a software that will allow you to take the QuickTime MOV files that you've created and bring them into a project format and manipulate those and merge them and cut them and splice them and do transitions and put in special effects, and then compile all that into a single complete video, which you can put out as a file, or you can upload it to YouTube, which is probably one of the more popular things that we'll see our customers doing. On the digital still side, that's pretty simple. These are just JPEG images, so there's really no special software. Both PC and Mac users can just flip through their pictures. If you have any kind of photo editing software already, you can use that as well. So this concludes most of our presentation on the T250. I hope you enjoyed the presentations. I hope you enjoy the product. It's very fun product. It's small, compact, very powerful. I think you'll find it very easy to use once you get used to it. There are a number of features that we weren't able to address in all of our videos here, but there are all sorts of features and functions and effects and EV compensation and on the selection of video modes. So there's a lot you can do. So I encourage you to explore the features right on the face of the camera, try things, experiment, and go in and look at the user's manual as well. There will be, if need be, updates on the web occasionally. If we find something else that we need to discuss in the manual, we'll certainly put updates out there. But it's been my pleasure to introduce and discuss this product, and we certainly hope that you'll find it an enjoyable piece of equipment for you. Thank you then. Bye-bye.